Any coffee left?
Yeah, help yourself.
In future, I'd be grateful if you didn't interfere with my son's life.
Eh?
Don't you realise what you put us through? We thought that you were both on that bus.
We had a good time together. There was no harm done.
He was supposed to be at school,
I told Claudia I was taking him.
and she should never have let you. And I've made that quite clear to her. One more incident like this, and she's out of a job.
I think you're overreacting a bit.
Your opinion doesn't interest me. I've got more important things to worry about. I'm taking Joseph to visit Kathy. See you this afternoon for the board meeting.
You might have stuck up for me.
I couldn't. Because I think Chris is right. I think you did behave very irresponsibly.
I just gave the kid a day out, that's all.
Well, next time you have a bright idea, ask first.
Just all my love, Chris. Thank you.
Bit over the top with the flowers, weren't you?
I think it's a very nice gesture.
I'd like to get this board meeting started as soon as possible.
Well, I'll get the minutes on the agenda.
Thank you, Kelly. When you've done that, I suggest you take a long lunch hour.
But won't you be needing me for the meeting?
No, I'll be taking the minutes myself today. You'll have plenty of time to go into the village. I'll give you a call on the mobile if we need you again.
Why are you getting rid of Kelly?
There are sensitive issues to discuss. I've already caught her gossiping with the drivers.
I thought we were here to talk about the accident. Didn't realise it was all going to be top secret.
There were 2 Tate vehicles involved, 3 dead, more in hospital. We're in big trouble.
So we have to face up to our responsibilities.
I guess we won't be able to avoid compensation claims, but our insurance should cover them.
Maybe, but those cases are bad publicity and they can drag on, which isn't going to be good for business. And that's just the start of it.
You mean it'll get worse?
Well, right now, people are shocked by what's happened, but it won't be long before they start to get angry, looking for someone to blame.
And their finger will point at us.
How we handle this crisis will determine whether this company goes forward or goes under. That's what this meeting's about.
I put too much into this company to see it taken away from me now. Tate Haulage is going to survive, whatever it takes.
As directors, I presume you're all aware we can be held liable for any offence of the company. I would therefore suggest that no one makes any statement about the crash that's not been previously agreed by this board.
Oh, you mean official statement, yeah? You're not suggesting we don't talk about it to anybody in the wool pack or on the street?
Well, we're all going to have to meet villagers in our everyday lives, but I'd still stress extreme caution, even in casual conversation.
Don't you think you're overreacting? I mean, these people are our friends.
No, that's a bit naive, Zoe. Well, we both know there are people who've always resented the power the Tates have got round here. They'd use anything they could to bring us down.
It would be natural to express some regret over the dead and injured, but please avoid any form of words that could later be quoted in court as implying any guilt on behalf of the company. The company is going to be cooperating fully with the Department of Transport investigation. We can then say that it would be inappropriate for us to make any further comment till that investigation's reached its conclusions, which will buy us some time. I've drafted an initial press statement that meets these criteria. If it's approved by this board, I suggest we release it at once.
I hope this meeting isn't just going to be about press statements and strategies. Surely we need to talk about the people who've suffered through this accident, what we can do for them.
Right, and we can start with Pete. He died working for this company.
Well, I think we should defer making any decision on that till we've heard the results of his post-mortem. I mean, if any trace of alcohol or drugs
What
are
are you
found in
talking about? Pete was a good driver, and he was a mate of mine.
We can't afford to get emotional about this, Sean. I presume that driver negligence or error will be easier for us to deal with than some verdicts.
Lisa, I'm afraid there's a board meeting in progress. We can't allow outsiders in.
Well, I'm sorry, but I think you should hear what I've got to say. It's about the accident and what might have caused it.
And I think we should hear her out. Please go on.
Well, As you know, I've been a bit behind on the service contract. But I warned Pete. His truck wasn't ready to take out, and I don't think he'd have ignored that.
Well, of course not. He's an experienced driver. I mean, he'd never take out a vehicle he thought was dangerous.
So I'm sure you've got nothing to worry about. But thanks for drawing it to our attention. We'll look into it straight away.
So you don't think I'm at fault, then?
Well, it's not for me to decide, Lisa, but right now I'm sure it's much more important that you're at the hospital, helping Butch to make a good recovery. You're the one who brought Laura onto the board when you thought she'd keep me and Sean in line. I'm just beginning to see sense in it.
Because she'll help you sweep any bad news under the carpet.
No, she's good in a crisis. But I do think it's something we should discuss in private.
In the way again, am I?
No, of course not.
But we do have rather a lot to discuss. You know, dealing with the aftermath of the accident.
That matters to me too, you know. Pete was a mate. We had good times together. Like when you nearly had us nicked for drinking a few beers.
We're all sorry about Pete's death.
Big difference. I'm upset about him. You're just worried it might be bad publicity for your precious company.
No, that's not true.
Oh, save it, Zoe. If I hear any more, I might just throw up.
I ought to go after her.
You're wasting your time. Face it, Zoe, she's a driver, you're a company director. You'll never see this the same way.
Being a director doesn't mean that I don't have feelings.
But it does mean you've got to get your priorities right, and we've got a lot of work to get through. It'll mean extra fuel costs. But in the short term, I think we ought to reroute the trucks and avoid going through the village.
I can't believe how cold-blooded you're being about all this.
I'm just being practical. We have contracts to honour, so these decisions have to be faced.
And what about the people who died in the accident, Chris? When do we face up to our part in that?
That is exactly what we've been discussing all day.
Is it? I wish I could believe that you really cared for any of them.
Just because I don't wear my heart on my sleeve like you do, it doesn't mean I don't have feelings. You know how much I owe to Kathy. I sat and I watched the rescue teams, thinking that one of my trucks had killed her. Imagine what that did to me.
I'm sorry, I'm sure it must be hard for you too.
And it's not going to get any easier. If you really want to help the people in the village, then you'll help the company. That way, they'll have jobs and money, which will be a lot more use to them than all your sympathy.